You know, this was not something that I wanted to hurt anyone. Not a fun thing.
There was no sex.
No.
None.
No.
Another case of he said, she said for Herman Cain, this time involving an alleged affair. A major airline filing for bankruptcy, why American says it will help the company take off once again. A night at the movies that ends in the ER, why the latest Twilight movie is making people sick. And a rivalry that finally reaches the boiling point involving a flower, a cane, and two senior citizens. Your Independent News Network starts right now. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. We begin with the sentencing of Conrad Murray, found guilty last month in the death of Michael Jackson.
The court has determined that the appropriate term is the high term of 4 years imprisonment.
Murray received the max for his homicide conviction, 4 years. Jackson died from a propofol overdose, a drug commonly used to put patients under for surgery. Conrad supplied that drug to Jackson. He says Jackson gave himself the final dose. Time for your Vote 2012 with a former front-runner in the GOP race for president considering his campaign. Embattled Republican presidential hopeful Herman Cain could soon make an announcement. A top campaign source says they will look at how fundraising is going before making a decision in a few days. The announcement comes after a Georgia woman said she had a nearly 14-year-long extramarital affair with Cain.
I was aware that he was married, and I was also aware that I was involved in a very inappropriate relationship. He made it very intriguing. It was fun. It was something that took me away from my sort of humdrum life at the time.
Ginger White says their relationship lasted until just 8 months ago. Cain adamantly denies that affair.
I acknowledge that I knew the woman. I acknowledge that I've known her for about that period of time, but the accusation that I had a 13-year affair with her, no.
White's allegations follow 4 other women's accusations. Cain sexually harassed them in the 90s. He denies those allegations as well. Cain's numbers fall even further in recent polls. The former frontrunner has fallen to 3rd in a compilation of polls by Real Clear Politics. He now has about 15.5%. Newt Gingrich continues his steady rise and tops the polls with 23.8%. Mitt Romney is second with 21.3%. Rick Perry still hanging in there with 8%, but his campaign did receive a boost today with Maricopa County, Arizona Sheriff Joe Arpaio endorsing him during an event in New Hampshire. The sheriff's tough stance against illegal immigration have spurred civil rights lawsuits. Perry's camp says it's a nod to the Texas governor's border security record and plans to fight illegal immigration. An investigation into the disappearance of a Florida mom has turned to the woman's ex-fiancé.
After numerous tips and investigative leads, we are officially naming Dale Smith, the ex-fiancé, as the primary suspect in the disappearance of Michelle Parker.
Michelle Parker went missing 12 days ago after appearing on the People's Court. Parker and Smith, who police say have a violent history, appeared on the show together. Her mom has been heavily involved in the search for Parker and says the focus should still be on finding her daughter.
My daughter is still not found. She is still missing. I am so sad that this has happened, but we have to do what we have to do. We still need to find Michelle. In my heart, I know she's out there somewhere, and we need her. We need to find her. We still need searchers. We still need the flyers. And this is a sad day, really, you know, but I think it was inevitable.
Parker's family has said they do not believe Dale Smith was involved in Michelle's disappearance 12 days ago. Police say at this point they have no plans to arrest Smith. The man at the center of that Penn State sex abuse scandal has hired a private investigator in a bid to prove he's innocent. Jerry Sandusky, a former assistant football coach for the college, is now charged with 40 counts related to alleged sex abuse of 8 boys. A grand jury report claims he met his alleged victims through the Second Mile. It's a charity he founded. Sandusky's attorney says his client is conducting his own investigation with the help of a private investigator. Sandusky is free on $100,000 bail. We head overseas now, where an historic vote comes to an end in Egypt. And in Iran, protesters show support for their country by storming their capital. Here's your Global News Now. Protesters in the Iranian capital Tehran stormed into the UK embassy today. The group broke down the door and took down the British flag, replacing it with an Iranian one. They also threw stones at the embassy's windows. On Sunday, the Iranian parliament voted to expel the ambassador and reduce diplomatic ties with the United Kingdom. Polls are now closed in Egypt's historic election, and the votes are being counted. Voters are hopeful that this time their choices might actually count. People stood in line for hours to vote in the first election since President Hosni Mubarak was booted from power. Afghanistan's president has called a high-level judiciary meeting to discuss the case involving this 21-year-old rape victim. She faces 3 years in jail for adultery because she refuses to marry her attacker, a relative. Nearly 5,000 people have signed a petition calling for her release. Floodwaters are taking over parts of Australia. This video is from New South Wales in the southeast part of the country. People there are evacuating, others are stranded. Power is out in many towns there. Forecasters are predicting heavy rain in the next few months due to La Nina. And that's your Global News Now. American Airlines parent company is filing for bankruptcy. AMR Corp made the announcement this morning, but the company's president says the decision was not made because the company is completely out of cash. Instead, he says it's a strategic move.
I think we concluded that the gap between our cost structure and the rest of the industry had become too wide, and really just not something we could sustain any further. And at the same time, great economic turmoil in the global economy and high and volatile oil prices. So all of that taken together created an atmosphere where our board felt that the best decision was to pursue a full restructuring of the company to make us more competitive and successful for the long term.
AMR says the bankruptcy filing won't affect flight schedules for American Airlines, American Eagle, and its other subsidiaries. Well, as you're a student looking at colleges, which colleges come with a better price tag and why? As Ryan Bass gets back to business.
With church membership dwindling and more families struggling to afford the cost of college, many private religiously affiliated colleges and universities are slashing tuition to stay afloat. Some Christian colleges are cutting tuition by double-digit percentages. Others are capping the price of admission for all 4 years or offering huge discounts based on academic performance. Luxury retailer Neiman Marcus is going into the holiday happy. The department store's earnings have soared 88% for the fiscal quarter. That ended in October. Neiman Marcus's wealthy customers are coming back as the recession weakens. And in a move to get younger shoppers inside, the store has just started accepting Visa as well as MasterCard. What do teens want for Christmas? Well, a recent survey shows cash is king. 22% would like money this holiday season. Fashion is still important, with 15% putting clothes at the top of their list, and 11% want Apple products. iPhones and iPads are the most desired, but the iPod Touch and Mac computers are also popular.
Gaming systems like the Xbox and PlayStation 3, as well as Android phones, will also be hot this holiday season. That's according to the survey. For your Back to Business, I'm Ryan Bass.
Thanks, Ryan. Well, there's some really wacky weather going on. Parts of the north hit 70 yesterday. And take a look at the south. We'll tell you where the snow was falling and a summer-long flood and its effects months after the water has receded. We take you back to the Missouri River Valley where cleanup continues. All that coming up next on INN.